Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Sean Austin here again, and we're back with another rabbit farming video for you from Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce. And today we're dealing with that long-awaited topic of the importance of record keeping. Now a lot of you may not know this, but the success or failure of your rabbitry depends on only one thing, and that's record keeping. It doesn't matter the size of your operation, it doesn't matter how much years experience you have, none of that matters if you're not on top of your record keeping. In fact, if you're going to have a successful and more so a profitable rabbitry, then record keeping must be your number one priority. So stay tuned, we'll talk a bit more about this right after the intro. Okay guys, so we're back, and like I said, today we're talking about record keeping. There are different methods of record keeping, so let's have a look at some of them. Record keeping could be as simple as handwritten cage cards, to notebooks, to more electronic formats like computer software. The things that would influence which format you decide to use are obviously simplicity, the size of your operation, availability of material, and of course cost, because cage cards and these stuff, some of them are free online that you can download and print out, some you have to purchase, as well as with software as well. There are free versions, and then there are some that you're going to have to purchase. So cost is going to play a big part in you deciding which format you decide to go with. Now first up, cage cards. Cage cards are good, and in most small rabbitries they're usually sufficient. Like I said before, there are a lot of them online. You can get free templates that you can download. You could even design your own cage card, because you may get free templates but they may not have all the information that you would necessarily want to keep about your rabbits. But you can use the free ones as a guide in designing your own, because then you can make it look really nice and put your own little logo in the corner and stuff like that. These are a few examples what some of them might look like. As you can see with most of the templates, the basic information on the card is the same. You have things like the name of the rabbit, breed, sex, color, ID number if you have an ID number for your rabbit, their date of birth, their dam, and their sire. These are the standard information that you're going to have on any cage card, but obviously you feel free to include whatever additional information you think is necessary for you to operate your farm efficiently. Now, this is a basic breeding card for does. In most cases, you'll have information like the buck that she was bred to, date that she was bred, palpate date, when you're going to palpate to confirm pregnancy, the box date, that's the date you're going to put in the box, which is usually about 2 days before the kindle date. Alright, obviously then the kindle date, you might want to record the litter size. There are other things that you may include there as well, like how many were born alive, how many were born still. I mean, you could go wild with it, because it's at the end of the day, it's your rabbitry, it's your information, so you could go how detailed you like. You can even weigh them in a couple of days time to see the weight of the litter and monitor their weight from there on. Make simple notes, as about their size, if all of them were evenly sized, or if, let's say, you had a litter of 6 and 5 were really nice and big and one was a little peanut, you might want to make a note of that. So at the end of the day, it's up to you. And again, the more information you store, the more detail of an analysis you'll be able to do on your rabbitry as you go forward. Now, like I said before, if you have a small rabbitry, just cage cards alone will work fine. But some people, as their operation expands, they move towards a notebook or a ledger, or they work in tandem with cage cards and using a ledger, because I mean, if you have a cage card, there's a limit to how much information you could realistically store on a little cage card. Now, this is the average size of a cage card. This is a 6x4. Now if you're buying cards, because I see there are sites online that sells cards, if you're buying cards, they come in sizes like 5x3, 6x4, 8x5, things like that. This is a 6x4 sheet of paper, so you have an idea of how big this card is. So there's a limit to how much you could really save on a card this size, and in an intensive operation you'll quickly run out of space to store information. So a lot of people use ledgers to store the direct information about the rabbitry, and the cage card just really for identification of the particular rabbits. Now I recall let's say about 5 years ago, I went to Barbados, visited a farmer there named Mr. Ford, one of the larger rabbit farmers on the island at the time. And Mr. Ford had a huge ledger that was like 4 inches thick with rabbit records going back about 10 years. I mean, it was really amazing to see that. He had real meticulous records in a ledger going back years and years and years. It was really impressive to see. But like cage cards, ledgers too have their limitations, because even though you might have a huge ledger with unlimited pages to write down data, it can be a bit of a chore. For example, if you wanted to trace the lineage or the lineage of any one particular rabbit, of course you could do it because you have all the information stored, but it might require you to flip through hundreds of pages in a ledger tracing that rabbit's parentage all the way back 3 or 4 generations. And it could be, like I said, it could be a bit of a chore. So ledgers are good, cage cards are good, but they both come with certain limitations, and it's something that you will have to take into consideration when deciding which record keeping method you're going to use. Now we've come to my personal favorite, and that is computer software. I personally believe that computer software is an absolute must any commercial operation. Now I'm a bit biased to software because we've been using one for a few years now, and we're at the point where we can't imagine running our Rabbitry without that software. But let's look at some of the pros and cons of using computer software. First of all, for the pros, you can store lots of data, almost unlimited amounts of data with most computer software. You can increase efficiency to amazing, probably about 10-fold, you know. For example, we use a software, and within that software, daily tasks are generated. So on any given day, you just look at your home screen and you have a list of all the tasks that are set or due on that specific day. So any rabbits that have to be bred, any litters that have to be weaned, any boxes that have to be put in, palpates done, kindle dates, all that information is generated for you on a daily basis, right? With a software, you can automatically calculate pedigrees and lineage for any particular rabbit within your farm with just the click of a mouse. You have really quick access to information, and you can even easily transfer rabbit records from one farm to another. Okay, you have the option within most software to import pedigrees of rabbits that you bought that were kept in other software. Because I can tell you from personal experience, I bought some rabbits a few years ago, and I had to enter their pedigrees manually, and it took me hours because each rabbit, going back 4 generations of information on each and every rabbit in its lineage, it took me a very long time to enter those pedigrees. And now you can just, with the click of a mouse, and all the information is automatically added to your software. But of course, nothing is perfect, so there are a few things that you may consider cons. The main one, of course, is the cost. Right? There are a few free software out there, but remember, no two software are created equally, and sometimes you do get what you pay for. Right? In most cases, the more complex the software, the more the cost, which, however, I don't think is the case with the one that we use, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Another thing is compatibility. I know a number of persons who have been using software for quite a number of years, but unfortunately the companies that they were with are no longer in business, so they can never get any new updates to that software, as well as it may not be compatible with any new software that they do install. They may not be able to transfer the records. With those older software, you also had a problem that most of them were computer based, meaning you had to buy a CD or download a software and install it directly to your personal computer. And if that computer were to fail, you ran the risk of losing some, if not all, of your records. Right? That's no longer an issue with most of the software now, especially one that we use, because it is now server based, meaning that the records are stored on a remote server and you access that server via a web page. So there's nothing stored on your personal computer, so you don't have to worry about losing any of your information. Another added benefit to that as well is that you can then access that information from any mobile device. Last but not least, it's the learning curve. Like with any new software, obviously you're going to have to play around a bit with it before you become fully proficient and you're able to utilize all the features. But you don't need to. When you're just starting out, start slow and build up. As you go along, the more you use it, the better you're going to get at it. Obviously, your level of computer savvy is going to determine how fast you get up and running with any new software that you install. Now, to make a long story short, the name of the software that we use is called Hutch. Hutch was created by a company called Bandtrax. You can visit their webpage, bandtrax.com, to check it out. Don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description below this video. Now, I must say this, we are not being paid by Bandtrax to promote their product. We are in no way affiliated with them, other than the fact that we purchased their software a few years ago and have been using it ever since. But it has had such a positive impact on our operation, and we just decided that we share our experience with you guys. So it's up to you whether you want to go ahead and check it out or not. Right? We are not benefiting anything from it, we're just sharing our experience. But let me look at a couple of the other software that are present on the market and give you an idea of the prices. A couple of them I looked at in the past and I didn't go forward with them at the time. I think the main factor was the price. Let me just read off a few prices for you here. The first one on the list that I looked up recently was one called Bunny Trails. Bunny Trails retails for about $65 US. There's another one called Zueezy, which goes for about $67 US. We have one called Cunitech. Now, I'm familiar with Cunitech because I played around with it a bit in the past, but Cunitech has always been a bit pricey. At the time, it was about $400 US, and right now, when I checked their webpage a couple of days ago, they have packages where free trial version starting, well, obviously from free to all the way up to $428 US. So it's a bit up there. Another big one is Breeder's Assistant. All right, I played around with Breeder's Assistant in the past. My experience at the time was that they were more focused on software for other animals like sheep, goats, and cows and things like that. So they had just launched their Rabbitry software, and at the time it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't fully up to scratch as yet. So I found it a bit complex to use, as well as it's a bit on the pricey side. Looking at their site now, they have packages ranging from $99 US all the way up to $800 US. So it's a bit on the pricey side. I know most of the smaller farmers may not necessarily have that kind of cash to throw around, to invest in a software. But then of course there's Hutch, the one that we use. Now, I think it's really affordable. Their packages range from as low as $12 a year. Yeah, that's correct. Not $12 a month, but $12 a year, to as high as $130 US for a lifetime subscription. And the lifetime subscription comes with all free upgrades and things like that. So I think it's reasonable. When we bought it a few years ago, the lifetime subscription was $170 US. It's now 130, so it's down by 40 US. So it's even more affordable than it was when we invested in it. And having used it for the last few years, when I compare it to the other ones that are currently on the market, I personally believe that Hutch gives you the best bang for your buck. Okay, so here are a couple of screenshots of their page. You can see Rabbit Records made easy. You can manage your records on any device. Personally, I use my personal computer when I'm inside, but when I'm out in the Rabbitry, I use my phone and I update my records from right there. So it's very user friendly, and I must say this though, their support system is really incredible. Right? Any aspect of the software that you don't understand or any questions you don't have, you just go to the help section and you type your question, and literally within seconds someone is there to respond to you and help you get through that difficulty. So it's really amazing the service that we get from Hutch. So I just want to give them a big shout out and say keep up the good work. We definitely look forward to all the upcoming upgrades, because I know you guys are working on some new stuff as well, and we look forward to see all the new features that are going to be added as the years go by. One thing I must mention, I must touch on as we're talking about record keeping, and that's tattooing. It's extremely important, especially in a commercial operation, that you tattoo your rabbits. Tattooing is a major part of record keeping, especially when you're using software, because it's the main way that you're going to identify your rabbits. Obviously, you can use numbers, you can use names, whatever you decide to use as a way of identifying your rabbits. It's always a good idea to have them tattooed. Like, especially in an example like ours, where we have a commercial operation and we primarily raise New Zealand whites. So at any given time, you're going to have 200-300 rabbits that are all white. So it's very easy to have a mix-up, and you can create a bit of a confusion if you can't easily tell them apart. Cage cards are fine, you can number your cages and all that, but you can still make the mistake of putting the wrong rabbit in the wrong cage. But if they're tattooed, then you can never mix them up with any other rabbit. So guys, I think you should definitely look into purchasing a tattoo kit and start tattooing your rabbits as early as possible. As long as you decide you're going to be keeping them as stock, you have them tattooed and you go from there. Now, we have a video on tattooing. I'll leave the link in the description below so you guys can check that out as well. Now I don't want to make this too long, because I realize there's a lot of information and there's still a lot that we haven't talked about. So I'm going to leave it here for today, and we're going to continue this video in our part 2 on next Monday, please God. So guys, don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. We really appreciate your feedback. We want to know what's going on out there in the rabbit world. If there are any other topics that you think that we should do a video on, leave that in the comment section below, and we'll definitely give you a feedback on when or whether or not we're going to do a video on that topic. But we definitely want to get some feedback from you guys, and we really appreciate hearing from you. So again, I'm going to say thanks for signing in. Thanks for being here with us. I'm Sean Austin from Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce, on behalf of my business partner, Sean McLean. I must big up my business partner, right? He's out there working really hard. Just like everywhere else in the world right now, there's a bit of a scare on with this COVID-19 coronavirus that's going around. We have now officially stated that there are 4 cases here in Trinidad and Tobago. So everyone is on high alert. We're hoping that everyone does their part and acts responsibly to curb the spread of this deadly virus. So again, big up to my business partner, Sean McLean. He's out there at ground zero, working hard to keep the rest of Trinidad and Tobago safe. So guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.